nigga.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Ain't that going on? What's up, Cameron? You sorry than the crackhead. You sorry than the crackhead.
Nigga.